Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining our session today, Technology Tools to Support Reading for All Learners. We are excited and ready to share some great tools, strategies, and resources with you that may help your child or student with reading. The presenters are Fairfax County Public School teachers working in the Office of Assistive Technology Services, also known as ATS, within the Department of Special Services. Let's meet them. Hi, I'm Karen Hawley.
Hi, I'm Karen Hall.
Hi, I'm Jessa Bohm.
Hi, I'm Rachel Connolly.
We hope you gain a few takeaways from this presentation today to support your child or student with reading. All tools discussed in this presentation are universally available to all students in Fairfax County and free of cost. Our goal is for participants to have an understanding of assistive technology used to support children and students with reading disabilities, be able to identify 3 word processing tools, and to be able to identify 3 online tools to support reading. We want you to meet a student, Emmy, a 5th grader, who will share how assistive technology has helped support her learning. Emmy is a student who has advocated for using assistive technology in her classroom, and not only is she a motivational speaker, she teaches her classmates and teachers about using inclusive technology and all of the benefits. This quick 3-minute video is a powerful example of how technology can change learning and give students a voice.
Hi, I'm Emmy. I'm a 5th grader at Poplar Tree Elementary School, and I have dyslexia and dysgraphia. In 3rd grade, when I first found out that I was dyslexic at the beginning of the year, I kept on struggling and got really frustrated on how I couldn't read. And when I had a story that we were assigned to do, all of the words that were in my head didn't come out on paper and how I wanted them to.
She took a pretty big hit to her self-esteem that year, and she was not feeling very confident and was definitely not the same rambunctious kid that we had.
My mom showed me a video made by Dyslexia, and they were talking about like famous successful people who had dyslexia and how they succeeded in life, and how dyslexia isn't something to be ashamed of.
They had somebody from Microsoft talking about Immersive Reader, and so we started looking at these videos, and that was making a really big difference to her.
Today I am going to talk about Immersive Reader. Microsoft has...
So Immersive Reader is a free tool on Microsoft Edge that reads to you and has parts of speech, because I'm not the one who masters nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs. It says which is which, so I know what it is.
We're looking at different abilities and skills. There's not a one tool that fits all. So we tried different screen readers, and while she liked those, it's not really working for her the way that Immersive Reader does. And I really saw this huge amount of success and confidence grow with her this year, because she's actually finding the success with that, and the way that it works more with her learning style.
And ever since Emmy has been using this, as the year has gone along, she's just become so much more comfortable putting her headphones on whenever she needs to use the technology. She's shown teachers how to use it. I've called other kids over, and she's helped me help them get it on their computer and use the technology in order to listen to science articles and things like that.
Emmy is one of 43 students on the tech squad, and one of the questions we ask is, why do you want to be a part of the squad? And her answer was, I want to help other students find out what kind of technology can help them with their learning, like technology helps me learn. They are teaching teachers how to use these tools because they are oftentimes more experts than we are. So we started that, and we called them tech chats. And at the end of the meeting that day, Emmy came right up to me and she said very confidently, Miss Lacey, I want to lead a tech chat on Immersive Reader.
Hearing a student advocating for themselves and finding a tool for themselves, I think it's more powerful for a student to say it.
The fact that she wanted to come in and talk to her teachers and tell her teachers about this amazing software that she had found, and that she was starting to be open to talking about it, it was breathtaking for us. It was amazing.
My family has been very supportive of it, and all of my teachers have learning about this tool and telling more people about it.
And I hear other kids in her class are using this tool too. If they found that it is helpful for them, I think just by her leading that in front of teachers gave her the confidence to then help other students find ways it can work for them.
Just the advocacy she has in her own education, wanting to have others have that same success, it's a really powerful thing to see.
In the beginning of 4th grade, when I made my digital resume, the one thing I wanted to do is help people, and I'm doing that right now by telling people about this school.
Thank you, Emmy. What a great little story she shares.
Hi, I'm Emmy. I'm a 5th grader at Poplar Tree Elementary School. And
All right. So what is assistive technology? Assistive technology is any item, piece of equipment, software program, or product to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of persons with disabilities. If you look at the image here, there's a lot. Hardware, software, programs from computers to apps to tablets. So really, if the technology increases, maintains, or improves the capabilities of a person, when is technology not assistive? So I like this next image because it helps us understand what some disabilities may look like and that some are easier to see than others. Think about a time when you have seen a person in a wheelchair or using a mobility cane or some other piece of equipment to help. You know there may be barriers for this person as to what they can access, yet we know how to be accommodating. We may move out of the way, we may offer to hold the door. In the image on the bottom, the person may have a barrier to learning that we cannot see. Students with reading difficulties often have a barrier to learning, and we need to make sure that we look beyond what we can or cannot see. It's important to focus on what students can do and build from there to provide accommodations and supports for learning. Before we move into the content of this presentation, I wanted to share a few great AT quotes to kind of get you thinking about the power that technology can have on students and children and adults. So let's get ready to do some learning. The first thing we want to talk to you about today and share are called screen readers. A screen reader, or sometimes called text-to-speech, is a digital tool that provides auditory feedback for electronic text. Basically, it reads words out loud. Screen readers provide many benefits to the user. They level the playing field, allowing the student the ability to read the given content. They break down barriers to learning, and they make text accessible. There are a variety of different types of screen readers, from ones that can read an entire computer screen to some that just read a web page or a document. In this presentation, we're going to share with you the Fairfax County screen reader called Natural Reader. There are a few versions of Natural Reader. There is an online reader. There is a software download that's on student computers, and there's also a Chrome extension that works in the Google environment. The free, easy-to-use software can read text such as Microsoft Word files, Google Documents, PDFs, and emails. The Chrome extension easily allows you to work within the Google environment. I have listed a few highlights for you here too as well. Natural Reader adjusts the voice, speed, and volume. It works with eCart, which is a testing program that we use with students. There are some natural sounding voices, and it's available on all student computers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you these three versions of Natural Reader. The first is I'm going to show you what the website looks like. So I'm just going to open a new tab, and I'm going to type naturalreaders, there's an S.com. And when I go here, I get this box that pops up, and it tells me that I can use Natural Reader online, or it tells me I can use the software version. To use it online, you just click the online tab, and it opens up into this new, sorry, not the online tab, the online reader. If you click the online reader tab over here, it opens up into this new box, and it tells you simply drag and drop your files or paste your text here. So I have a website open about Christopher Columbus, and I'm just going to copy this first paragraph here. And I'm going to paste it right into this box, okay? Up at the top, you'll see I have a few controls and a few tabs. If I simply click play, it's going to read my text out loud to me.
Columbus led his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria.
As you noticed, I also had captions on below. And if I come over here to the More tab, it tells me some different settings that I have within Natural Reader. I can also go to the Gear tab, which is where I can change the color. I can change how it highlights words. I can change some different reading settings as well as fonts. So that's the online reader. It's pretty simple to use. Next, I'm going to show you the software version. And to access the software version, you can simply come down to the bottom of your computer and you can type Natural Reader. You'll see it pops up, and I have version 16 installed on my computer. If you want to download it, if it's not on your student computer, or if you wanted to download it on a personal computer, you can do that as well. When I open the software version, it opens just like the website does, and you have a box where you can drag and drop files into. But what I like about the software version is it provides a tool called the mini board. And if I click more, I can come over to mini board. And then the mini board is just this little box that hovers over top of whatever document I'm on. So I have my website open. I can highlight text here, click play, and it will read it to me.
Columbus led his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, out of the Spanish.
I also want to show you that it works with PDF. So I have a PDF open here too. Okay, so if you or your student have a PDF, you can highlight text within the PDF, click play.
Early military career.
And it will read it as well. You might notice that the voice is a little different with the software version, and that's because it uses the voices that come installed on my computer, which is a little different than what's online. So I only have 2 voices here, so it's a little bit more robotic sounding. I do have some settings here that I can change by clicking the gear. I can adjust the speed, and I can change the voice. If I want to go back to the bigger screen, I just click this box right here, and it takes me back to where I was. It takes me back to where I was before. So the last thing I want to show you is the Google extension. And I have that installed right up here on my computer, and it's the N. If you want to add it to your computer, all you need to do is go to the Chrome Web Store and do a search for Natural Reader. Click on the box, and then it will say Add to Chrome. Since mine is already added, it doesn't say that. But if you click Add to Chrome, it will install as an extension up top. So here I am on my website. I'm working within Google Chrome. This also works in Google Docs as well. I can highlight text. I can click my N, my green N up at the top, and I get a little button here. I click play, and it's going to read the website to me.
The Nina, the Pinta.
I have some options here too. I can turn on my captions. I have a button to turn on click to read, which allows me just to hover over my text to read. And I also can go directly to the website from here. So that's Natural Reader in a nutshell. So next, we're going to hear from Karen Hom, and she is going to talk to us about online tools to support reading.
Thank you so much, Karen. So now, today I'm going to show you a couple of online tools to help our struggling readers. Some of these tools are really supporting summarizing for our students. And there's research done by the National Reading Panel, and it's found that summarization is an effective strategy that helps readers improve memory and identification of main ideas. So the first tool we're going to take a look at today is called Text Compactor. It's a free online automatic text summarization tool. So what you can do is you can copy a text from any website or document. You're going to paste it into the window, and I'll show you how to do that in just a second. And it automatically summarizes it for you. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that works. So I'm going to take text that I copied from a website, and it's about George Washington. So I'm going to go ahead and just paste it in there. And as you can see, it's a really, really long text. And some of our struggling readers, this would be a lot for them. So what you would do is you would go down a little bit and go to step 2. And you have the sliding bar, and you can go all the way from 100%, which will show down here the entire text, or you can bring it down to 75% of the text. You can go down to 50% of the text. You can even go down to, let's say, 25% of the text or 10%. So let me show you what 25, actually, let me go ahead and show you what 50% looks like first. If you go down here, you can tell a difference between the original text, which was pretty lengthy, and the text compactor. Basically, it does what the title says. It compacts all of that text into a smaller size. So then if we go back down, if you feel like that's still too much for your students, and it's going to be based on what the student needs, you can go ahead and drag it down to, let's say, 25%. And as you can see, it compacted it even more. So I think that's a really neat tool for our students who, you know, they could use this for pre-reading. They could also use this for post-reading to help with their comprehension. Another tool we want to share today is called Rewordify. Again, this is a free online tool, and it helps with summarization. Okay, so we're going to go to Rewordify. And same thing, I'm going to take the same text, and I'm going to go ahead and paste it in. As you can see, once again, it's a very lengthy text. When we click on Rewordify text, it is going to show you, and I like how this panel shows how it takes the tougher words within that text and it changes it into words that are easier to understand for students. So as you can see, within our original text, devoutly is going to be one of those words that not all our students can understand, and they changed it to completely. So as you can see from the text, they highlight the word that was switched into another word. That makes it easier to understand. And as you go through the text, you can see which words that they changed out into easier words to understand. What's really neat about this program is there are different settings that you can use. If you click on settings, you can click off of that side-to-side panel, and you can just click on reword, and it will show you which words, or it highlights which words were changed. You can do display harder word and easier word, so it shows it side by side. This is what I showed you initially, where it was 2 columns side by side. And for some people, that might be an easier way to view it. And then this one, it just has the word that is changed, and then it has the definition off to the side. Now, this rewordifying level, if you click on easiest, it's going to give you the maximum amount of words that they're going to change. So these are for our really, really struggling readers, and they're going to switch up all of those words that they deem are very, very difficult. Whereas if you go to hardest, these are maybe for some of our kids who don't need all the words changed up. And so as you can see, if you hit hardest, it only changed up 6 of the words. Highlighting mode, it just shows you different options of what color options you can use for highlighting. You can also have it underlined. Okay. Our next tool is called Summary. So you can paste the article, and I'm going to use the same article. You can paste it, and then you can summarize it based on the number of sentences that you want. Let me go ahead and show you how that works. We're going to go to the Summary website. Okay. And you can go up here, and I'm going to use the same article. You can go up here and you can say how many sentences you want it to summarize to. So maybe for some of our kids, they need only 2 sentences, distinct sentences, that will summarize the entire text, and it kind of gives them the main idea. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2, and let's see what it does. So I'm going to go over here into the window, and I'm going to paste in the same text. Okay. And let's see how it does with summarizing into basically just 2 sentences. So I'm going to go ahead and click Summarize. And so it took that entirely long text that we had, and it summarized it into 2 main ideas. I think that is really, really neat. So it says it reduced it by 93% or 264 characters. I think that is amazing. If we go into settings, you can click on these different settings if you want it to avoid the questions, exclamation points, question marks, or I'm sorry, quotations. You can also click on heat map, which I thought was really cool because the heat map, it shows you what's highlighted in red is really the main ideas. And then it will also highlight some other sentences in yellow, which are the lesser important ideas. One thing I did want to show you was that you can also paste a URL right in here. So instead of summarizing or clicking into the window and pasting something, you can also just click on click in this window and then just type in a URL, and you can summarize it that way as well. Okay. Now, before going on, I wanted to show you 2 web browser accessibility tools. As Emmy said, there was the Microsoft Edge and Mozilla Firefox. So I want to go ahead and show you the Immersive Reader within Microsoft Edge. If we open up Microsoft Edge, and you should have that loaded in your laptop already and in the student laptops. If not, you can go ahead and download that or ask your tech team at the school to help you with that. So Immersive Reader will be this icon right up here, okay? And this is where I got that, that text from. It's whitehouse.gov, and it's about George Washington. And so if you click on that Immersive Reader icon up there, you can notice how it went from kind of like our website view into this very simplified view. Okay, and it kind of cleans up the web page a little bit more. Okay, so we have this first tool up here, which says Read Aloud.
George Washington, the White House. Presidents. George Washington.
And it will read the website out loud for you and all the text. There are voice options. You can speed it up, you can slow it down, and there are various voices available to you. Okay. The other tools available are text preferences. You can change the text size to make it larger. You can click on this and it will space it out a little bit larger spacing. It's a little bit easier to see for some students. And then there are also page themes, and it just changes the background color. And it really depends on the student what suits them more and what's easier for them to see. For some of our kids who have dyslexia, this is really important to them because for some kids, a light background is better for them, whereas some kids, a darker background is easier for them. So I would really ask each student what they prefer, and they can go ahead and play around with this. Okay. There are also reading preferences. I'm going to go back to the main theme, reading preferences. If you click on line focus, it really masks those lines. And again, for kids who are having trouble reading, for struggling readers, or for kids with dyslexia, it really focuses in on line by line, which really helps their reading. You can also change it to 3 lines at a time or showing 5 lines at a time. Again, this is going to be student per student and what they're most comfortable with. There's also grammar tools where it's going to take the text, and then if you click on syllables, it's going to break each word up into syllabications. And then also parts of speech. Here's another option. If you want to highlight just the nouns, you're going to click on nouns, and it's going to highlight every noun within the text. Okay. You can also click on verbs, and it will highlight the verbs, and you can change what highlighting color you want for those different parts of speech. Adjectives. And then if you click on show labels, it will show you right on top of the word if it's an adjective, a noun, or a verb. So this is really neat for kids who are learning parts of speech. And so you can show the labels or not show the labels at all. And I think that is a really neat option for Microsoft Edge. The other browser I want to show you is Mozilla. Okay. Again, if this isn't loaded onto your laptops already, you can go ahead and load that onto your laptop. This is the same website. If Reader View is available, you will see this icon right up here in the URL window. If you click on it, once again, it cleans up that website for you. Okay. And if you click over here on type controls, here are the different options or different settings that we have. If you click on this serif, it changes the font. And for some kids, especially our kids with dyslexia, it, it changes that font up just a little bit so it's easier to read. If you click on this option, it will enlarge the font. This option right here will change the spacing between the words. And then this will change the spacing between lines, okay? And then these options will change the background color. So kind of like what we saw in Edge. If we click on the listen, this is our option to go ahead and get it to read aloud.
Whitehouse.gov. George Washington, the White House.
It's a little bit more robotic than what we heard in Edge, but you can also speed up or you can slow down the reader. Okay, this last option is called the pocket button. And if you click on that, it's kind of just like a way to save it or to bookmark that article. And it will be right up here, all your pocketed articles. Okay. And that concludes our presentation of our online tools. I'm going to go ahead and switch it over to Jessa.
Thank you, Karen. Okay, so we are going to talk about reading supports in word processors. So the two word processors we're going to focus on is Microsoft Word and Google Docs. So first, let's talk about some personal preferences. Would you rather read a paper or a digital book? Do you like a large font or a small font? What type of font do you prefer? Which background or color do you like, and does it help you read better? And do you prefer reading and writing at a table or on the couch with your feet up? So for me, my favorite way to read is with a book in the sun by myself on a beach somewhere. But when we look at Microsoft Word, we have some reading supports and accessibility that's already built into the tool. Some of the things that we're going to talk about are Immersive Reader. Karen did touch on that, and so did Emmy in her video. We're going to look at audio spell check. We have the option for a Read-Aloud. There's also a dictation tool, so you can voice type into your Microsoft document. There's an option for a reading view. We can change our fonts, our backgrounds, and our spacing. And there's also word prediction that is built into our Microsoft tools as well. So let's open up a Word document. So I already have a text kind of pasted into there. So to get to our Immersive Reader, we're going to go to our View tab. And as you can see here, we have Immersive Reader. It has the same exact features that Karen just went over. So you can change your column width to narrow to more wide. You have options to change your color, your background color. Again, that'll be based on your student preference. You have your line focus that you can do, which again, you can start small with just one line and you can increase to 5 lines. You have options for text spacing. You can break it into syllables, and then you also have the same read aloud feature. So with the read aloud, this bar pops up on the side. You have options for settings, so you can change your reading speed faster to slower. And then there are 3 voice options that come with my computer. So we can close out of Immersive Reader. We have an option for an audio spell check. So when you have a word that is spelled wrong in a Microsoft document, you're going to have a red squiggly line under that word. So here I have one word that is spelled wrong. I am going to click on that word. I'm going to go to the Review tab. And right here we have spelling and grammar. So as you can see, my editor came up and it did identify the word as spelled incorrectly. So you have the option to read that sentence that has that word in it. You also have suggestions for the correct word, so it is correctly spelling family. If you click on this dropdown, you'll have an option to have it read aloud. It will also spell it out loud for you. So that gives some of that auditory feedback. It's spelled F-A-M-I-L-Y. So that is a good option for students. If you click on the word, it will correct it in your document for you. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is dictation. So let's go back to our home. And as you can see here, I have a microphone with dictation. It is powered by Microsoft. So if I put my cursor in my document and I click dictate, the first time I click it, it usually does come up with this error, but let's do it again. So you heard that little sound and you can see the record button. And now what I'm saying is being typed into my document, period. So I can voice type punctuation as well if I explicitly say it, comma, period. I just wanted you to see that. So I'm going to click dictate to turn it off. And then another option that is built in to, another option that is built into your computer is word prediction. So if you go down to your search bar and we type in text suggestions, it's going to take us to our settings. And part of our settings under devices, we have typing. So here, I already have mine turned on, but we're going to go to hardware keyboard. And if yours is toggled off, so show text suggestions as I type would be off. I want to turn it blue, which means that now it's toggled on. I'm going to X out. And now as I type, you'll see this box come up above what I'm typing, and it's predicting words that I might be trying to say. It does not read the words out loud as you hover over them, but it is an option for students to have word prediction available to them. And then the other thing we're going to look at is a read aloud. So if I highlight my text and I go to the review tab, right here we have a read aloud option. So it will read it out loud for you. Again, you can change your voice speed as well. Okay. There are some options for different reading views. So you can change your reading view into print. You can also do a full screen reading mode, which allows your students to view their document in kind of a book format. There's also different fonts that are more appropriate for readability. So there are some preferred fonts that have appropriate letter spacing, large body size, and notable shape differences between the letters O, A, B, D, P, and Q. These are called sans serif fonts, and these letters appear less crowded and they reduce visual distraction. So these 4 fonts are listed below, and you can see kind of the differences between them. You also have the option to change your background and font colors. You would do this under the Design tab, and you can change your page color based on student preference. You could do this as well in Google. You can adjust your spacing in a digital text, so you can go and play with the margins. You can adjust your line spacing, your character spacing, and your word spacing. And we just talked about word prediction. So most of our students are using Google Chrome. So Google Chrome is great for collaboration and sharing. It's very simple to use. It syncs across devices and you can access it anywhere. It's customizable and there's no more lost homework. So some reading supports that are available in Google include spell check. There's a define tool. Sorry, you can search by voice. There's an explore tool. There's tables to text, voice typing, and then different tools, apps, and add-ins that are available. So if I look at a Google document that I have open, if we go to our tools, you'll see options for spelling and grammar. So I have it checked for showing spelling suggestions, showing grammar suggestions, and checking my grammar kind of as I go. So let's see if I did spell a word wrong. A red squiggly line comes up underneath. If I just click on it, it will give me the suggested word. There's some feedback options. And then I can kind of choose to always correct it if it's something that's consistently wrong. But if I click on that word, it will then put it in for me. Another option is the define tool. So if we pick a word, let's highlight the word knowledge and go to tools, and I want dictionary, it will come up on the side of the definition of knowledge. Another option is voice typing. So that was like our Microsoft Dictate tool that we had. So under tools, we're going to go to voice typing. If it's the first time that you're using it, you might need to enable your microphone for Google to have access to it. But you'll see this popped up. I have a black microphone here. That if it's black, it means it's off. I want to click it. It will turn red, and it will start typing what I am speaking, period. Again, you can explicitly say punctuation into there as well. And then there's also an explore tool. So if I click on this explore tool, I can search the web. So let's say I want to search the web about the military, since that's one of the things that we're talking about in this document. It comes up with different web information. And then there's also images, and you can directly pull the images into your document as well. As you can see, my cursor's moving, so it will go wherever my cursor is. Okay. I'm going to delete that. Another option here is we can change our formatting. So under format, you can look at font size, you can look at line spacing, your paragraph styles, indentation, all things like that that we were able to do in Microsoft Word as well. And then you can change your page margin and page color. If you go to File, scroll down to Page Setup, you do have the option to adjust your margins. And you can also pick a color that you might prefer your background to be. Okay. All right, and now Rachel is going to talk to us about accessible text.
So when you're thinking about accessible text, typically you think about books that are online in an electronic format. Some students actually require those texts in an alternate format due to a print, a visual, or a physical disability. And usually those electronic formats can be read with a screen reader. So when we're thinking about choosing audiobooks, we want to think about why we would do that. It levels the playing field. It might provide a read-aloud model for a student. It relieves the burden of decoding for our struggling readers. They can practice their fluency. They can focus more on comprehension instead of reading each of the words and working on their decoding. And it has less distractions on the page. They can also read books on grade level, just like their peers. And for some students, it's just more fun. And reading is reading, whether they're reading it themselves or they're listening to an audiobook. Fairfax County Public Schools has a lot of online databases, and many of those feature built-in text-to-speech support. So they'll actually have a read-aloud speaker button or some other tool that will allow students to listen to the text. A lot of these online databases do require a login, and each individual school will be able to provide those. Project Gutenberg is an organization that provides access to free ebooks, many of those books that have expired copyrights. One typical one is Romeo and Juliet. There's Tale of Two Cities, Huck Finn, pretty much anything that has gone out of copyright your classic novels. Those would be in Project Gutenberg, and they present them in several different formats so that you can access them on the platform that you prefer. Tar Heel Reader is a site that provides easy to read, accessible books for beginning readers. Those books can have the speech enabled. You can access them using multiple interfaces, and you can also find books that have already been made, so you're not recreating the wheel, or you can create your own books. The public library. So many of you have probably seen Overdrive for a long time, and in the last year or two, Libby has been pushed out as a newer tool. You have both options still. There are multiple platforms that you can read on, and all you need is your library card. There are options for font sizing, margins, contrasts, and you can sync across devices as long as you have a login. So the sites are down below. This next video that we want to share with you is a great way to think about whether or not you are helping your students to problem solve solutions or if you're doing it for them. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video.
And you're now 2. Did you know that? Light it on the top. Like this. Hold on, hold on. We gotta sing to you first. Ready? Is mommy ready?
Yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Marty. Happy birthday to you. Now you blow.
Now you can
Again. Blow up here. You're terrible at this. You're gonna light your head on fire. Blow it up here. Oh, dude. Oh my goodness. Right here, right there. Blow. What did you? You're gonna open your mouth and blow. Do it. Hold on.
slow down.
There. There. Ready? Blow. There you go. Yay!
Good job, buddy.
Now you want to eat it?
So as you can see,
and you're now 2.
Oops. As you can see, the parent did not do it for him. He gave his child a solution for actually being able to blow out the candle. And that's what we're hoping that some of these tools will give you in those assistive technologies for students with reading difficulties. So we want you to remember that assistive technology can bridge the gap between a student's current skills and the material they need to access. That many of these technologies are readily available in the classroom. AT is never meant to replace instruction. And always remember to consider the continuum of least to most restrictive. We have a lot of resources for you, and I'm going to show you how to find those. If you go to the FCPS website at fcps.edu and search for Assistive Technology Services, which I will show you now. And once our website comes up, which it should be first, we have resources down below for students with reading difficulties, technology tools to support all learners, and assistive technology support for FCPS on schools. and special education instruction. We want to thank you for watching our presentation today. I'm going to keep this slide up for just a moment so that you can see that if you would like a handout for the presentation, you can email specedconference@fcps.edu. And we all want to say thank you for attending our presentation on supporting students with reading difficulties.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.